Okay, thanks for persevering. So I'm Hazel, I'm from Woods Bagot. So this project was developed with an ambition for innovation to be facilitated through the built form, to make a place to connect the right people together at the right time, with the true value of physical proximity embedded in the brief. The concept was developed around the creation of a town square or a meeting place, a place to gather all the people in the program together, like a mini city with a heart. And from that starting point, the core urban challenge was how to make a big building on a dense site intimate and engaging, to leverage the efficiencies in embodied and operational energy, and to maximise the advantages of proximities between researchers, industry, academics and students. We conceptualised the project from the inside out, where the central green living space gives order to the project and provides the connective tissue through the height and the program of the site. So upwards and outwards, where internal spaces engage with the external, where the public and private merge and connect the people in the place. And the superfloor concept follows the circular geometry of the central open space to track the sun throughout the day, and it connects all the spaces physically and visually in the round at the edge of the town square. With the laneways drawing the context from the street edges, along with open vistas and breezes. These laneways prioritise human comfort and experience to drive the form and the program of the master plan. So the centre is a connected and entirely accessible ground plane in one contiguous, clearly navigated realm. It pushes the building forms and the program to the street edges, clearing the middle to be full of fresh air and light. Located just off campus and over half a city block in size, our approach required integrated and unconventional solutions that challenged almost every aspect of the project. This would not have been possible without a united team. So the mode of development really demanded collaborative decision-making throughout the life of the project, from the design competition through to D&C delivery. So the innovative solutions that we came up with that drove the design were embedded and supported and championed by that team. Lendlease and the university have a unique 42-year lease deal with a rich mix of program and a strong commercial and research drive. The outcomes, the whole project is a finely balanced system with many operational parts. So the whole team was invested in the design approach, and many challenges were tackled collectively. Firstly, we were asked to respectfully reimagine the former Royal Women's Hospital, but we challenged that brief and we offered a better urban solution than what the orthogonal existing buildings could offer. We put forward the concept that Melbourne Connect could occupy the whole site, so that we could consider the unique benefits of creating campus space in the middle of the site, with through-site connections that challenged the well-established Carlton street grid. The idea of the campus typology is merged with the inner city grain of Carlton to find a home on this site. So conceptually, the scheme reflects the grain and the scale and the character of the surrounding neighbourhoods in its podium base. It transforms the typically low-scale residential vernacular into an abstracted interpretation of podium and tower, where we prize apart the base to make a protective external layer that allows the internal ground plane to be as transparent and as porous as possible, where all of the program spaces are visible from almost every angle all at once, prioritising human connections. So the 2 levels of brick podium contain all of the public zones, with the tower forms above responsive to the human scale networks at ground. We've used the brickwork throughout the podium in a singular materiality, which creates opportunities for us to humanise the scale, with intricate and unexpected detailing and references to the university campus within the individual brick modules, which create moments of urban delight and beauty. The coloration of the brick podium is carried up through into the tower facades, with hundreds of sun-shading hoods and prismatic glazed panels arranged around each one of the facades. And the facades perform efficiently, effectively, to reduce the solar heat loading and the reflectivity. they actually contribute significantly to reduce the thermal loading and help us to generate 10% of all of the consumed energy on site via renewables. It was a very granular process alongside ARUP. The 3D surfaces create reflections and shadows with various levels of transparency. Now, the small timber building is glulam columns and beams and CLT structural floors. It houses a number of different uses. There's learning and childcare at the upper levels. With Frobel, there is commercial, and Melbourne Connect actually have their offices in there as well. So the beauty of the mass timber is really another moment for us to celebrate, where the delight of raw materiality has been embraced. So that's just two examples of where demonstrable for sustainability is enmeshed in the design outcomes. Many other strategies have been included, and the precinct has recently received a 6-star Green Star rating. So the ground plane draws 4 dynamic laneways together in a central open space, and it creates 5 separate parts that are merged together at the level 1 superfloor. As I mentioned, it incorporates a whole series of spaces that are really centred around bringing industry and academia and the researchers and the students together. The typical floor plates of the commercial building are over 3,500 square metres in size, and the edges are eroded by the spaces below. So the site has a very complex history as the former Royal Women's and as the home of traditional custodians. So in consultation with the council, the naming of the laneways is a way for us to bring new opportunities for new learnings and new stories to be told. And so what you see here is the brickwork, which is a constant throughout the project. The footprint, you can just trace the edge of the old 3AW wing, moments of historical reflection and interpretation used in the ground plane, laneways for people to play and stay, and the sustainability initiatives embedded within the physical precinct are vast and complex and extremely well considered, but it's really about how the spaces are used and enjoyed. One of the questions we ask is how architectural agency really promotes positive learning experiences and outcomes for all levels of education, right through from undergrads to postgrads and research people who are actually contributing monetary success to the precinct. So there's a whole series of sustainability objectives that really go into the premise of what Melbourne Connect is trying to do as a facility to educate the public, to educate people about what's possible in the world.